friends, and welcome to the Dyslexia Dialogues. I'm Dr. Sherry Rochelle, but most importantly, I am a mom of three. This podcast is born out of both my professional life as an educator and my personal journey as a mom navigating dyslexia with my youngest son, Lucas. Episode 0 is where it all begins. Today, we're going to hear about Lucas's story. Lucas is my 8-year-old third grader, and he is, like I said, the youngest in our family. And just the most unique, truly little, magnificent little boy. He loves his alone time, but he's also just the best little socializer. He loves being friends with everybody. He's the best friend to everybody you can imagine. We say he's an old soul, and sometimes it's like his grandpa, who passed when he was real little, comes through and talks to us through him, because it's just like hearing a 70-year-old man talking through this little 8-year-old body. And right now, Lucas's current obsession is turtles. We live in the great Midwest, and we've had some rain this summer, and every time it rained, it was, "Mom, can we go turtle hunting? Can we go turtle hunting?" Update, we didn't go turtle hunting. He has no turtle, but he did find like a little Tamagotchi type thing from when we were kids that talks to him. He named it Mindy. Nature, animals, those are the things that really make Lucas light up. Besides being with mom and hanging out and just having fun with dad and his siblings. Okay. As a educator, I noticed real early on in Luke's life some little red flags. Most people probably wouldn't think much of it, but I have multiple degrees in education. I am well versed. I have a long career in education. And so when he started saying no instead of yes, or off instead of on, it raised some red flags. And then as he went on to preschool, he started writing his letters backwards. And then sometimes we would write right to left instead of left to right. And all of that was just little stuff. And, maybe he'll grow out of it. Maybe he'll grow out of it. He did, to a certain extent. We now write left to right the way we're supposed to, but occasionally our B's and our D's are still backwards. Occasionally things get a little flipped. At home, it was clear that something wasn't quite right. Lucas never had the reading bug. He wouldn't go and pick up a book the way his siblings would, or still do. He avoided it, and when we encouraged it, it was always tears. One of the big things that I really wondered about with Lucas was always the inability to follow multi-step text, or just even in general being organized. Lucas's older brother, the middle child here in the Rochelle household, is or was very young a clean freak. Everything had to be put away and organized and all of that. And Lucas just never bothered. It didn't seem to be something he cared about. And when we tried to push, it became a struggle even more. So as he progressed in school, we got told, let's wait and see. He had a really fantastic preschool teacher his second year of preschool. We did 4-year-old preschool. He went to school at 5. Very uncommon for little boys to go to school that early, but we went right after. He was born in August, so he went just a few weeks after his 5th birthday, because he was bored at home with just mom and dad. And he was ready mathematically, critically thinking wise. He was there. It was just the reading part. And my thought has always been, if he needed more help, we would just hold him back. So preschool teacher, she's seen the same things that I said, but at that young of an age, it's really hard to perfectly diagnose or say, yeah, this is absolutely what it is. And so it became a wait and see game. Kindergarten, same thing. They're too young to truly diagnose what is going on. Is their brain working differently, or are they still just trying to catch up? Come 1st grade, I got really worried because we were still seeing the same things. Reading was not getting better. We were behind our peers. We were still struggling. We didn't want to do the reading. We didn't want to do the homework. We were losing papers. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you probably have some sort of a background in dyslexia, whether you have it, your child has it, or you're just really interested in the subject. So you understand the way that all of these signs were flagging for me as an educator and just the overall something's not quite right here. So I kept asking and I kept pushing. I asked his first grade teacher 3 different times. And each time when I would say, "Do you see any concerns of dyslexia?" "Oh, no, 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 no. He's fine. He's fine." Well, my mom instinct, which is something I've learned a long time ago to trust to the core, was flagging and flagging and flagging, saying, "No, no, this boy isn't okay. This boy needs more support." So come second grade, we had multiple teachers that he was working with. We had the Title IX teacher, or the title reading teacher, we had the interventionist, and then he had his classroom teacher. And all of them are here trying to support this boy. And at the first parent teacher conference, I ended up cutting off the title reading teacher because she started saying, "Do you think, or have you noticed?" And I said, "That he's dyslexic? Yes, I have been saying for years." So finally, somebody else saw what I saw, and it was time to get Lucas tested and do the things to give him the supports he needed. So we went down to a great place here in South Dakota named Scottish Rite. Unfortunately for me, I have a very, very smart little boy who is able to mask his struggles to the extent that the evaluators hesitated. They weren't sure until I said, "Hold on a second. I have a degree in education. I am a doctor of education. I've seen this over and over." One of the things that I do on a daily basis with my students is work with dyslexic students or students who have learning difficulties. So I knew what I was looking at and I knew what I was facing. After we framed it the way we did and talking about what happened at home, she agreed that his case of dyslexia was mild. Now, I am one of those people who don't give me a mild or a moderate or an extreme. Every case is a case that needs to be looked at. Every case is a case that needs to be concerned about. Just because it might not be significant compared to somebody else's doesn't mean it isn't going to impact this student's life. So we went through all of that. When I got the full report, I remember sitting in my office and bawling because it was one of those things that I felt like a failure. And the parents who are listening, you'll get this. I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, but I obviously didn't push hard enough because here we are almost 3 full years into school. He was in his second grade year. He'd gone through kindergarten. He'd gone through first grade. We'd done those full 2 years. And there's something else I could have been doing if I would have pushed a little bit harder. But we can only do what we're capable of. So we went through, we did all of that stuff. I sent it to the school and they came back and said, "Well, do we really need an IEP?" And I said, "I don't think so, right? I don't see any learning concerns other than the dyslexia." But I said, "I've already waited this long to get this report and I feel like I've already failed him. So I'm not going to do it again." We pushed to have the IEP tested. The IEP testing came back. And again, Lucas is such a smart young boy that he was able to score so high in the mathematical IQ portion of the test that the below average portion weighted out to still be above average. And here we are without any services other than a 504. Now, I am sure that there are some of you who understand this struggle completely because your child or your friend or yourself are in the same boat where something is so high, which is the critical classical academic definition of dyslexia, where there's a massive discrepancy in learning, right? We have one area that is so high and we have one area that is so low. That is dyslexia to its core. But here's the thing, don't ever give up. What I found with Lucas is his brain works in amazing ways. I don't understand all the things he sees. I don't understand how his brain works. I never probably will. But he sees things differently than I do. He sees things differently than his siblings. And that is what is his gift to this world. His dyslexia is a challenge. Yes, every day we struggle to feel confident in our reading and to even want to do it to begin with, or to keep ourselves organized and follow those small tasks. But it's also a gift. And I tell him all the time, just like I tell my students, dyslexia doesn't make you better. It gives you the skills that the rest of us need to change the world. Okay. The journey has changed me not only as a parent, but it's also changed me as an educator. As a parent, I am much more willing to look at my kids and say, your best looks different than your siblings. And I'm proud of you because you did do your best. That's always been the thing in our house, is we don't expect perfection. If you try your hardest in whatever it is you do, and that is something you can tell me at the end of the day is, Mom, I tried my best, I'm going to be okay. And it took a little while to understand that all three of them have different best. It looks different to each of them. His diagnosis was then a reminder for me with my students that maybe their behaviors are a way of hiding something. Maybe their behaviors are a way of coping. We talk about masking in education, but it's not enough. We don't talk enough about the students who know enough to just get by. And how do I level them up? How do I help them succeed? At home, it means a lot of work. On the home front, we spend a lot of time reading. We spend a lot of time organizing and walking through processes and coming up with routines so that he can feel comfortable, so that he can feel confident, and we can do the things that he needs to do. Right now, Lucas has a SIPS book in the car. I'm sure some of you have heard about SIPS. It's a fantastic program that our title reading teacher uses. He has a SIPS folder, I should say, that has a ton of stories that he is currently working on in his reading class. And every time we go to anywhere, he knows he gets to pull out his SIPS book or his SIPS folder and read us a story. Not only does this help him build his confidence and his ability to read out loud and to read just in general, but it also allows us as a family to support him in his challenges. And slowly it's working. He gets a little bit more confident every day with the reading that he does. He gets a little bit faster in his reading every day. Do we expect perfection from Lucas? No. Do we just want to see him make progress? Absolutely. If I could give one message to other parents or to other providers who work with dyslexic students, it's this: you are your child's biggest advocate. And it is absolutely okay to be the squeaky wheel. Push for what they need. Even when it's exhausting, even when you're saying the same thing for the fourth, fifth, sixth time, say it louder for those in the back. You as a parent, you as a caregiver, know your child better than everybody else. You know what makes them tick. You know what makes them special. You know how to help them be successful. Most importantly, and this is one that I still struggle with, I know others are probably in the same boat, dyslexia isn't a negative thing. Yeah, it seems like it in a world built for those who can read fluently or whose brain doesn't work in this different way. Will we ever truly understand the way the dyslexic brain works? No, probably not, because it's not the same across the board for those who are and aren't dyslexic. But these kids' brains are so amazing. They are built for creativity. They're built for resilience. They give such a new perspective to the world. We need to support them in every way we can. Lucas is proof that this dyslexic brain is a gift, whether the academic world we live in sees it that way or not. We can be together, we can grow together. That is what I'm hoping for with this community of Dyslexic Dialogues. Let's join hands, let's share stories, let's learn to help our children not just cope, but thrive, to succeed, to watch them grow and become the amazing individuals that this world needs so very badly. Thank you for joining me for episode 0 of the Dyslexia Dialogues. This is just the beginning, a space for you, me, parents, students, educators to learn, to connect, and to thrive together. I hope that you will tune in again next week. We are going to take a look at what makes dyslexia, the defining characteristics of it, and all the different things that go into that. And week after that, I'm hoping to have another parent story to share with you about how their child was diagnosed, how they fought, how they succeeded. If you're interested in being on the Dyslexia Dialogue, please reach out to sherry.rochelle@outlook.com. We can talk through the different options that we have to share your story. Thank you again for joining me and have a fantastic day.